Welcome to the Gentle Ledger. Today is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, and the market feels like the moment between two breaths, quiet, balanced, and mindful of the world just behind it. Now, let's turn softly to the U.S. indexes, where trading moved with barely a whisper after the Federal Reserve held its key interest rate steady and investors absorbed the calm. The S&P 500 edged down just minus 0.01% to 6,978.03, a nearly imperceptible retreat from yesterday's all-time highs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose about plus 0.02%, closing at 49,015.60, a modest upward tick that felt like a gentle nod rather than a statement. The Nasdaq Composite advanced roughly plus 0.17%, finishing near 23,857.45. lifted by selective technology strength. Meanwhile, the Russell 2000 retreated about minus 0.5% to roughly 2,653.55 as smaller stocks paused after last week's rotation. Markets were stable, subtle, and reflective rather than dramatic. Gently moving into the corporate highlights, individual stocks drew the day's shape through clear percentage moves that felt measured but meaningful. Seagate Technology posted one of the day's most notable gains, climbing about plus 19.1% after stronger than expected quarterly results and upbeat AI demand commentary. In technology's broader leadership, NVIDIA rose near plus 1.6%, buoyed by optimistic AI-related forecasts and chip demand narratives. Soft but steady participation. On the defensive side, some names saw quieter moves. Procter & Gamble added a modest plus 0.7%, reflecting stable consumer staples interest, while Coca-Cola inched up a similar amount, quietly rounding out the list of smoother performers. At the same time, other parts of the market felt reflective. Amphenol slipped about minus 12.2% despite beating earnings, as elevated investor expectations led to a deeper re-rating of its outlook. United Health Group and other large healthcare names showed smaller moves near flat, as the earlier week's volatility in insurers continued to cool rather than reverse. Meanwhile, Microsoft and Apple each posted slight gains in the low plus 0.x% range, contributing to the Nasdaq's overall calm ascent. These corporate figures today felt less like a sprint and more like an orderly redistribution of attention and capital. Overseas, in Asia and Europe, the mood carried across gently but with gentle variation. Asian markets, led by South Korea's Kospi and Japan's Nikkei 225, saw mild gains as regional investors embraced a steadier global posture, while China and Hong Kong indexes traded in tighter ranges amid local policy considerations. In Europe, major benchmarks such as the FTSE 100 DAX and STOXX 600 showed modest softness or near-flat finishes, reflecting cautious digestion of U.S. stability and ongoing macro narratives. Across oceans, the market felt aligned in pause rather than push. In commodities and bonds, the narrative remained quietly active beneath the surface. Gold surged yet again, reaching a record high near $5,340.20 per ounce, a testament to persistent safe haven demand even as equities held firm. Silver also stayed elevated after recent strength, mirroring gold's resilient bid. Oil prices were mixed but generally stable, with WTI and Brent trading comfortably in the low to mid-60s, supported by supply considerations and steady demand expectations. In fixed income, the U.S. 10-year Treasury yield held around 4.24%, little changed as bond markets balanced maturity with macro calm. Turning now to the newer corners of finance, in crypto land the tone was patient and observant. Bitcoin hovered near $90,000, modestly higher as the broader market's calm sentiment folded into digital assets, while Ethereum and other major tokens moved gently without dramatic swings. Crypto today felt less like an outlier and more like a mirror, reflecting a market attuned to broader risk sentiment rather than chasing its own story. As the day settles into evening, let's rest in the reflective summary and outlook. Today's session felt like a thoughtful symmetry, indexes at near record levels, the Fed's decision anticipated and priced in, and markets choosing composure over conviction. From gold's new peaks to equity stability and crypto's quiet participation, it was a day defined by balance rather than burst. Tonight, let that measured cadence accompany you into rest, calm, attentive, and gently grounded. Good night.